Let me just speak to one final thing that was said by Carl. And he said, we are borrowing money from the banks at 18%. You know? And the banks are here, and they are my friends. And we have had this conversation. They told me, the problem, Mr. President, is that government is borrowing at 16%. So if government is borrowing at 16%, we cannot lend lower to the private sector. I have worked on the economy, and I am very proud of what we have achieved in stabilizing the economy. We've brought down inflation from 9.6% to 3.8%. We've brought down the exchange rate from 165, now we are at 129. We have brought down TB rates. And I want to ask these good people from the bank. We brought down the borrowing of government on treasury bills from 16% where we were when we had the conversation. Now the TB rate is 8.5% from 15. Your interest rates to Carl is still at 18%. Please explain to me. You know? I mean, that's the question. You know? You told me, Mr. President, reduce borrowing by government because if you are borrowing at 15, we cannot lend to Carl at lower. Now, I have done my part. I have reduced borrowing on TB bills now to 8. I have actually reduced it by half. You are still, explain to me, why are you still at 18% to Carl, please? You know, this is really the conversation we must have. And I appreciate that the banks are lending to the MSME sector. You've just told us you have lent 81 billion shillings. Part of that lending is to Carl and others. But you see, you need to be fair, you know, because you're making good profits. And I have no problem with making good profits. But surely, you should consider your customers. I think we must be deliberate about reducing interest rates. And the public is asking. The governor of Central Bank, Kamau Thuge, has been discussing with banks. And banks have told us, oh, you know, we are going to reduce interest rates. Oh, you know, we are going to reduce interest rates. We want you to match what you're saying with what you do so that the sector can benefit more. And for your information, apart from cutting down on our expenditures and reducing borrowing from the market so that we can reduce rates, we've built more reserves. You know, the reason why we made a decision as government, and I drove that decision of saying, let us do more savings. Today, I can proudly tell the country that we have improved our public savings from 320 billion in 2022. We are now closing to 600 billion before the end of this year. So, and as we improve our savings, we will make it easier for resources to be available, to be lent, patient money to be lent, and then we can manage the interest rates to come down. So that people like Carl and all these other people in the Juakali sector can borrow at lower interest rates. Finally, it shouldn't be the place of government to lend money. It is the place of banks. But you know, because the banks are stuck, now we have KIE, we're trying to manage interest rates at 10%. We have Hustler Fund at 8%. We're trying to do all manner of interventions because the people who are supposed to do this my good brother from Equity Bank. You need to do it better, and we are going to work with you to see how we can do it better. So I just thought maybe I should intervene just on that issue of being deliberate about creating jobs and supporting the MSME sector, and also trying to see how we can bring down interest rates so that they can employ more people, they can do better, and they can earn from their living and expand their enterprises and grow our economy.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I think our financial partners, you've taken that challenge, and the push is to get to single-digit interest rates. When we had a conversation with Equity, you said now you understand Hustler Fund, and you're willing to graduate within that collateral framework.